Oh, I have questions. Sorry, as a urban dweller who doesn't eat meat, I would like farmers here to explain to me what exactly the situation is on the ground. And then when you're criticizing the program, I know nothing about this program, so what does it try to do? And where is it failing exactly?
Jack, you want to? I'm not quite sure what you are asking for about what are the situations on the ground.
And the press release talks about, this being a perfect storm. You talked about the last trip that you made here on Parliament Hill. What is it that has brought you to Parliament Hill again?
Okay, at that time, there was one issue. It was the BSE crises. That issue had a perceivable end date. We didn't know when that end date would be, but we knew at some point that would be over. At this point in time, we have not recovered from the BSE situation, but we are being hit with numerous things. Some of the more important ones are the country of origin labeling in the United States. We feel we're being cut off from American markets while they seem to have clear access to our markets. The Canadian dollar is hurting us. The recession, of course, is hurting everyone. There are numerous other factors. We could go on for a long time. The bottom line is we have not been able to replace our losses from the BSE period, and our equity is eroded to the point that most of us are on the verge of being insolvent, or we're having trouble making ends meet. And in my area, Northern Ontario, that I speak for, most of the producers I know of are waiting for an opportunity to get out with something left in their pockets. We're not getting young guys starting. There's no, I guess what I say when I'm talking to people about it is, look at the color of my hair. When I'm done, that's it. The farmers in Northern Ontario, my age, my generation, when we're done farming, we're going to shut the door behind us, because there's no hope of my children. My sons, I have 4 of them. There's no hope of them taking over the farm, because they, being kids, they seem to want money, an income, a paycheck at the end of the week, and it's not there. And there's no, right now, looking down the road, I don't see it being there without some major changes. We're being squeezed, it seems, not only by the United States, but by other provinces. It seems Alberta and Quebec are fighting over who's carving up the Ontario beef industry and going to get the bigger chunk of it. And the Ontario beef industry, we are sitting here just watching it all happen. And some of us aren't happy with that, and that's why I'm here. Does that help you?
Yeah. Things to pick up on. What is it exactly you're talking about with this Alberta-Quebec thing?
Quebec is traditionally, in our mind, in my mind, and the farmers in Northern Ontario receive subsidies for their agriculture sector in general, which in Ontario we don't have access to. The Alberta cattle producers are receiving conditions under the CASE program that we're not eligible for. They're able to move their reference margins in such a way that they can still be eligible for a payout. And some support, whereas in Ontario we're not eligible for that.
That
These
Alberta
are federal
and Quebec,
provincial programs.
These
And
they're cost share
so a
programs?
province has an option of how they finance it and to what extent they finance it. And some provinces aren't financing it equally with others, and we're asking for a national program for it to be the same across the board. So if we have to compete with the Americans, at least we're not competing with ourselves in the process.
So this national program, what would it be? What would it look like?
That's not for me to say. I'm just a farmer.
You're asking for a national program,
Yes.
so what is it that you're envisioning?
That's what these fellows are here for.
Oh, okay.
I'll let Gord.
I am a producer as well. I feed animals. I'm down in Jack is from the Northern Ontario. I'm from Southwestern Ontario. The perfect storm. We went into BSE. It was an issue that hit our industry, hit it very hard. Every open market that we had closed its doors to us. That was the start of our changes in our beef industry. Our beef industry has struggled since 2003 in trying to fight regulations, try and fight survival. It's been nasty. Our inventories at the time of BSE, they were spiking to an all-time high and went down to basically almost zero. We have recouped, and every time we start coming back, there seems to be another little tragedy, and that could be another BSE cow that we've had that pops up. We know as an industry, we will get more BSE cows. We have a controlled risk status in the world, and we will probably be another 10 years before we're out of BSE animals. There is no health risk. In fact, when we hit BSE, I want to make it very clear, consumers supported the beef industry strongly. This is the only country in the world that consumption of beef actually rose when they got hit with a disease. And that shows the type of industry that we have. We have good standards, we have good regulations. Since BSE, the world has placed different regs on us. They've been hard to deal with, but our own CFIA has gone the distance in trying to put a regulation in place that would enhance sales and maybe open more markets. That has not proven so. In fact, it has put us in a non-competitive disadvantage, especially with the United States, that is a close partner. Some of those regulations need to be addressed. As it was earlier indicated, it costs more to process an animal in Canada than it does in the United States. The big issue in Ontario is profitability. And profitability is a word that we haven't been able to really say a lot in our industry. We've got an industry that is losing money, losing equity on their farms. These are a lot of family farms. I know some get referred to as factory farms, which I hate the name because there are large farms, but it's taken generations of families to pull together that type of an operation, and they are worked by families. So as far as having an industry here in Ontario that's viable, right now we're fighting for survival in the industry we're in. It can be a good industry. We understand the world is in a terrible shape in the economy, but we also have to look at it that as an industry we have downsized. We're in a good position when the economy turns around to feed Canada and feed the world, and we do export a lot of beef to the world, and a lot of that meat that goes out of Canada is beef that is not consumed in North America. We can add value to our product by getting into some of these markets, and that's why we work with government trying to get some of these markets reopened to us.
Sure, okay. What exactly is it that you are asking the federal government to do? You talked about a number of things, changes to
Agri-stability was one that we were talking about, and that is a risk management program that is in place. A risk management
I don't
program?
know what. Yes, this is not something I know.
It's a program that will help stabilize prices. We need a national program that does a better job than what this one is doing. We have a very volatile market.
You a minimum price or something like that?
No, it's all based off of annual. Let me get this right. Talking about agri-stability. It's a reference margin based. Yeah, reference margin based program off your income tax, more or less, is how they look at how your reference margin is in what you're selling. Yeah, sometimes I don't.
Explain it more to you.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.